think we can live our lives with the wrong attitude. In other words, we feel condemned all the time. Believe me, if there's hope for me, there will be hope for anyone. We can also live our life without thinking about where or when we may actually go. Where do we spend eternity? This evening I come to you in love to share my divine encounter with God and pray that my story will change your life, or at least make you think about why you're here on planet Earth. I think so often we look for excuses why we can't serve God that we forget that He loved us first, and He wants a relationship with us. I remember that when the topic of Jesus Christ came up in the room, I always used to feel so uncomfortable. I would try escape. If that wasn't bad enough, God would send Christians on my path to teach them how to sing. So I was sitting with a studio of God's little helpers, unaware of the spiritual battle that was taking place. God is love. We forget that and create images of an unfair and unjust God. He gets the blame for so much, when all He actually is love. I want you all to know that there is no such thing as fate, and that God has got His eye on you. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what you do. He always has been by your side and always will be, for His word says that He will never leave you nor forsake you. You are in God's perfect will by being here this evening. I just want to encourage you this evening. I'll never forget the day He stood at my door and knocked. I always knew there was something about my life that was different. A calling. But would use any means to deafen or to deaden the pain of knowing I belonged. Christians, it is through love. Even though I refused to listen and found excuses, through the love of Jesus, I was set free. Over 2 years ago, I sat on the ground floor, and I knew I'd gone too far. My body battered from inside. I knew it was time to say goodbye. When one has an encounter with death, we suddenly start to realize what life is about, and that it is a gift from God. I glared at a picture of my parents when God started to reveal Himself to me, and His desire to want to know me. Don't live your life with a deception. God always has a solution and a way out. I called a friend that God had placed in my life. I'm sure you all have someone in your life you can talk to, or God uses, or maybe God is using you. I had no idea I was going to have an encounter that day that would change my life. God's word says, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit. When she arrived, I remember coming into a place where I could talk to my Maker and ask questions. It was the first time in my life I had heard that Jesus really loved me. He never made a mistake when He made me. He has a purpose for my life, and He wanted a relationship with me. The knock at my door was so loud and clear that I was scared. I knew that if I didn't surrender, it may be my last chance. My life was a mess. I'd lived my whole life through for my own selfish pleasures, and I'd forgotten there was a big picture, and that Jesus, the King of all creation, desired my heart and loved me. My heart felt as though it was ready to explode. I was so unhappy. I felt so guilty and so unworthy. The enemy will tell you that to make you feel trapped, but Jesus says, I have come to set you free. I know the future. Come, let me carry you. I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am the great I am. the answer to all your trials and tribulations, your addictions. Others may see you as a loser, but I see your potential. Lord, could you mean me? But look at my life, look at what I've done. Struggling to breathe. I can't begin to tell you physically what my body was going through. I was tired of fighting. I'd been fighting for 8 years. I looked into my friend's eyes and asked her, am I going to die? No, she said. But this was my last chance.